Right, will it get through there? I don't know. So we're having a bit more fun with the tiny little Neo, and this is the one that I did crash and knock the gimbal all over the place, but managed to fix with the lollipop stick. It doesn't seem to have hurt it at all. So many people reporting issues with this little Neo, but I've been flying at FPV here with the Goggles N3, and it's absolutely perfect. So what I'm going to do in this flight is some of my usual stuff, just to get used to it, but I'm going to see what sort of nooks and crannies this can fly through, and how small are gaps, because quite frankly, if you ding this at low speed into something really even quite hard, it'll be absolutely fine. So you've seen me go through here, so this is through a lot of stuff, and you can see the signal to the heads-up display and to the RC is good, and it's 50 megabits per second. I did actually take off a little bit too early on this when the satellites weren't all good, so it actually set the home point just on the top of my roof, which was a bit curious, but it did try and return there when the battery got low. So what are we doing here? So we're just going to go up here using the joystick. Yes, I need to remove all that ivy, which we're soon going to do. Checking around what there is. This is very good for roof surveys. A little solar panel just charges up a few power stations. So let's have a look at the weather station. All looks good. That Christmas tree we planted years ago, which was one of our original Christmas trees when we moved in here, it's grown rather large. So really just getting a feel for it here prior to going into some of the small nooks and crannies. I was going to see if I could fly through the gap in that tree, and I ought to try because I reckon I could, but I think there's some twigs in there. Right, again, just whipping around a bit, getting used to it. This is flying with the Motion Controller 3, Goggles N3, and of course the Neo. So let's do a little bit of a distance hop. So if you watch here, you can see the signal to the RC, the satellites. Oh, I messed about here trying to do some easy acro, but I faffed that up and messed up the recording. So I then had to take off again. So I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here, but this is how you mess with easy acro. And I didn't get that to work right. So taking off again. You can see the home point's been adjusted to the correct altitude. If you see, you'll see that we're on the edge of an enhanced warning zone, and that goes on and off because it's literally a few yards and it goes off, which is weird. But you know, I'm always flying at incredibly low altitude here, so there would be no issue at all. I keep wanting to go under that table, but unfortunately it's too low. It's just too low. For a very narrow piece, but I do like to do this circuit just because it gets me in with the motion control. I've got a lot better at turning right now as well. Originally when I did this, I only like to turn left. In fact, I'm now about to turn right. Where are we going now? Oh, we're going to have a little pop over here. Right, now look at the signal. So the megabits per second is going down, but the feed is still pretty good. The feed to the signal to the heads-up display is poor, and I've noticed it's a lot different when you're going away to when you turn and come back. But I thought stick with it. The signal still seems perfectly good. I can still see fine. Signal to the RC has just dropped. Still got plenty of satellites. The people who are reporting flyaways with these, I don't know what's happening, because I've flown mine a lot and I've had no such issue. This is plenty far enough, 275 metres for a little Neo. It's plenty far. You see the signal to the heads-up display is now pretty damn good. It's when it's flying away from you it's not so good. Anyway, it seems painfully slow, 6.5 metres per second. There's a slight wind. It is painfully slow compared to the Avata, and I really would like it if DJI in sports mode would just up the speed a little bit of the Neo. It would be nice. Now we'll give you the ability to adjust it higher than it can go. I've got it on its max setting. Right, come in here. I have to be careful here because there is a lot of twigs and I don't want to hit it and either drop in my pond or my swimming pool. So I think here I've done it so I can descend. So precise the control with this motion controller. If you're concerned about flying with a motion controller, don't be. In my view, it's a lot better. I couldn't fly like this on the sticks. I really couldn't. Oops, what am I doing there? Backing up. What's he got in the middle of that tree? Let's see if I now start to do. I want to do some of the real narrow bits in a minute, which you will see. Oh, hit, and you can see it took that hit and kept flying. Sort of reset its little self. I'm having a look about to see what is around me. Big boingy twig there, but that got going again. I was going to have a look in there. I was going to fly through there, but it's quite dark. And the one thing the Neo doesn't like is darkness, so I decided not to fly through there. Plus if it dropped down, I would have dropped to find it. It might have knocked out some of the satellites, or I doubt it's only a timber roof. Yes, I know I keep doing this same course, but I haven't got much option. But I do a different course in a minute and some really nooks and cranny bits. See, I know what I was going to do. Just past the motorhome now. This is very narrow. You'll see in a moment. It is pretty darn narrow through here. So line them up. No problem there. So let's even do a more narrow bit. There's my Conwave T40 and the T35 behind it, and a knackered Mondeo that I really need to deal with. Right, so this is really narrow. You can hardly get through there as a person, so nice and slow. Look at that with the motion controller, no issues at all. I'm really loving this little Neo, as you can probably tell. You know, if you can still get the motion fly more combo for a good price, Amazon had gone on a deal. You get the goggles N3, you get the motion controller, and you get the Nano, the charging hub, and spare extra batteries and propellers and bits and pieces. You don't get a bag for it, which is a pity, but it really is a good deal. You have such fun with it. And of course, with that setup as well, you can fly the Avata. And nothing else you can fly on that yet. I'm not sure if you can fly the O4 air units that have just come out. I'm not sure about that. You'd have to check that if that's what you wanted to do. And I do prefer the goggles N3 a lot better than the goggles 3. Just find them more comfortable to wear, less light gets in, and you seem to see better in my view. Goggles 3 are good, and it could be the shape of my big old head, but yeah, I don't know. I just like the N3. They're bigger to carry, admittedly, and I have been using the goggles 3 lately, and they're good, but I just don't find them as good. You can't adjust anything for your eyes on the goggle N3, but you can on the goggles 3, so if that's important to you, then yeah, that's perhaps the goggles 3, but you can wear glasses in the goggles N3, but of course it will decide to depend how big they are. Now here's another narrow bit with lots of trees and twigs and God knows what else. I should have gone through the on that stand-up line. I need to tidy this part of the garden, don't I? So can we get through here? I don't know how far that is. 2 foot wide. Bins. Wants to go around the back there, but there's a lot of twigs there. We need to clear that out. Right, still having just a diddle around. Where do we go now? Do I do the narrow bit again? No, I don't. In a moment you're going to see if it can get through that hole in the pergola. which is a very small gap. Thought I'd leave that as last to challenge all those to watch the whole video. It's a good flight. I don't know if this is in total 12-minute flight I had. We nearly all of it in sports mode, and people say about the battery life in these, but that's plenty enough time to fly an FP. Right, is this where we go for it? No, not yet. So intuitive. I've said it many times with that motion controller. I'm enjoying this so much. I've got loads of DJI camera drones, but I just love this little Neo. Hey, this is where I decided to have a look through here. There's a lot of sticks and stuff through here. You can see them in the goggles. That's what's good. Right, this is my neighbour. We get on very well, but I didn't want to be too annoying to them. I should have gone up. I reckon I could have gone vertically up through that gap, but I didn't. I lost my bottle. I could have gone up through there actually. I'll try it another day. So I just now turn around. That's where you gently squeeze the stick and tilt the motion controller, and back we go again. Again, several twigs and sticks through here, and all nettles and things. Brambles, that's a fig tree. Right, just when I decided to do it, I think it might be. Right, in you go. Right, gently in, let's have a look. Can you get through one of them holes? Too many twigs and sticks there to get through, and down there looking around. Let's have a look this side. Ooh, I reckon I can get through one of those, so let's try to get through one of those. If you see, there is a stick and the bumper gets up against it, so it ain't going through there, and the drone is going bonkers at this point. I reversed out. You can see the twig shake, which is what it caught. Let's try this hole. And yes, we're through. Excellent. So you can navigate down a tiny little hole like that with the DJI Neo and the motion controller 3 and wearing your goggles. There's me, and that's that. Thanks for watching and listening.